Welcome to Part 2 of the Star Wars vs. Borg series. Please be sure to check out Part 1, linked in the description below. We will begin with the Star Wars style opening text crawl. I know they're a pain to read, so I shall read it to you myself. Invasion. The Borg have assimilated several worlds in the galaxy in a short time, and there is little to stop them. The Borg are the most dangerous enemy the galaxy has ever faced. All the major factions in the galaxy have put their old rivalries aside to fight the Borg threat together. Xian, a young Chiss Force-sensitive and nephew to the legendary Grand Admiral Thrawn, has discovered the ability to use Force projection under the tutelage of Luke Skywalker. Taking advantage of his nephew's ability, Thrawn is able to gather vital intelligence about the Borg and muster the only hope of preventing the Borg from assimilating the galaxy. The Rendili Dreadnought-class cruiser, the Saber, followed the three Borg cubes as they entered orbit of Mandalore. The pirate boss, Raxilian Rayante, watched the Borg cubes with a smirk on his face. Xian, Thrawn's nephew, stood nearby, blinking with bewilderment. "Why aren't they attacking us?" Xian asked.
"This ship is almost 100 years old. She's obsolete and not worth assimilating. Sure, the weapons are modern, but the Borg aren't even bothering to scan us. They'll ignore us unless we become a threat. But it seems you predicted exactly where they would be once again, Xian. If this were any other enemy besides a Borg, we'd have won by now thanks to your abilities."
Master Skywalker told me that he had never seen Force projection in the way that I can do it, and wished he could figure it out himself.
Right, but the hard part is defeating them now. Rax turned to the bridge officers and said, "Signal Thrawn, and send telemetry on hyperspace exits to his fleet."
A dozen Star Destroyers exited hyperspace near the Borg cubes, which diverted course to meet the Imperial Remnant fleet head-on.
"We are the Borg. Surrender your vessels, or you will be destroyed. Resistance is futile."
Grand Admiral Thrawn calmly observed the three Borg cubes bearing down on his Star Destroyers. He simply said, "Commence firing on the lead cube. Maintain standard Imperial shield harmonics." The Star Destroyers opened fire on the lead cube, which actually wilted under the combined firepower of the turbolasers. Near half of its hull had been blown away before the turbolaser shots ceased to do damage to the wrecked cube. The Borg ship, even with half of its former mass, managed to keep coming as if it were fully functional. Tractor beams seized several Star Destroyers and began to drain their shields. "Begin shield modulation now," Thrawn said. A nervous officer commented,
"This isn't going to hold long, and they've already adapted to our turbolasers."
"Of course they have," Thrawn said. "Launch fighters. Signal Admiral Ackbar to begin his attack." On the opposite side of the Borg cubes, several Mon Calamari cruisers arrived with an escort of various types of New Republic ships.
"We are here, Grand Admiral Thrawn. Shall we finish off the lead cube?"
"Admiral Ackbar, you may indulge yourself." Admiral Ackbar responded with a nod and ordered the attack. The weapons from the New Republic fleet had no problems ripping into the Borg cubes.
"How is it that their weapons are more effective?" an officer asked Thrawn.
Pardon me. The New Republic weapons are less uniform than Imperial weapons, especially those used by the Mon Calamari. Their technology also allows them to rotate the frequency of their lasers before the Borg can adapt."
"I don't see their shields going down."
"Correct. Without the ability to adapt, the Borg are on an even playing ground, although still powerful." The deck suddenly shook on the bridge of the Chimera, and Thrawn had to steady himself to keep from falling.
"Our shields are down. They've locked onto us with a tractor beam."
Almost before the officer could finish his sentence, dozens of Borg drones materialized on the bridge. The stormtroopers protecting the bridge downed a few drones with blasters. In seconds, the blaster bolts began to ineffectively absorb into the Borg's force fields as they adapted. While distracted, a drone materialized right next to Thrawn, grabbed him, and with a green glow, disappeared from the bridge.
"They've taken the Admiral!"
Right as the final Borg cube broke apart, a smaller Borg sphere shot out of the cube's superstructure. The sphere immediately opened up a transwarp conduit and disappeared before taking any fire. Inside the Borg sphere, Thrawn swept his fascinated gaze upon the thousands of alcoves where Borg drones spoke in unison.
Grand Admiral Thrawn of the Chiss Ascendancy and Galactic Empire. You lead the resistance to the Borg, and now you will serve us.
You may be able to assimilate me. You may even be able to assimilate the entire galaxy. But what then?
The Borg Collective is a state of perfection. We will improve the existence of all life.
Perfection is a subjective concept. What appears as perfection to the collective is a cancer to everyone else who is an individual.
Individuals are irrelevant.
And yet, you assimilate them.
Their biological and technological distinctiveness will be added to our own.
Distinctiveness? I see no distinctiveness here. I see no innovation, no creativity, and no evolution.
When you are assimilated, you will have access to all the stored creative knowledge of all assimilated civilizations.
Tempting offer, but perhaps I could opt out?
You no longer have options of your own volition. You will be assimilated.
Curious. Why prioritize me for assimilation?
To accelerate the assimilation of the galaxy, we have decided that you will be the primary adjunct of Unimatrix 1, where your knowledge of culture and art will serve to anticipate the tactics of those who resist us.
Thanks for watching, Space Friends. Be sure to subscribe and like and comment. I love hearing all of your comments. It takes a lot of work and time putting these videos together. Be sure to check out my Patreon page, linked in the description below, and stay tuned for more sci-fi content. Safe voyage, Space Friends.